how was working with Rahul Dravid in RR? Like how his presence influenced you as a fitness coach?
I think Rahul's approach is very clarity driven, right? And process focused. He values, I think he's values preparation, discipline, humility, and he understands sports science. So, because we come in a background of evidence based research and decision making. Yeah.
He motivated well enough in the last season, right? So like by showing the dedication by coming with a fracture. So did you work on him also?
Yeah, I actually did have a good opportunity to talk to him while he was in the rehab room as well. We did a lot of exercises together, and he's actually someone who really looks forward to training. He likes his
Okay.
strength training. He likes his jogs around the pitch. So he does all of those things. So he came to me. I didn't come to him or anything because when I was first there, I didn't know what to like say. But he was like, "Hey, Varun, this is my program. Can you help me out?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." So we had sessions together. We had good chats. He's a good. I think he's a good legendary guy. I think he's great.
And sometimes players are judged more on their fitness rather than the performance, just like the Rohit Sharma in like recent months only. So how do you see as an SNC coach view this balance?
Uh, I think when we talk about Rohit Sharma being not fit, I think he's cricket fit. There's a cricket fit and there's a physically fit person who's can run 2 km or 5 km, benches 100 kgs. So Rohit Sharma he's there because he's good at what he does. He's the best who he is, what he does, and I don't see any replacement.
Welcome to the second episode of SD Dugout. In today's game, cricket is as much about fitness as it is about skill. Behind every performance are decisions around strength, conditioning, recovery, and injury management that fans rarely see. In this episode, we are joined by the ex-strength and conditioning coach of Rajasthan Royals, Mr. Varun Ghosh. Welcome, Varun.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So, to start with, can you explain your role as strength and conditioning coach at the Rajasthan Royals, like during the last year of the IPL?
So basically, as a strength and conditioning coach for Rajasthan Royals, which is basically about performance and workload management, and monitoring what the athletes were doing in their domestic cricket and their international duties. And whenever they used to come for camp in Nagpur or Telegaon, where our high performance center was, is to actually ensure that they have adequately, fit for the T20s. And also alongside with Rahul Dravid and the physios and other technical staff members of seeing how much stronger or you know fitter they are when they come to us, because it's important, because T20 demands and domestic cricket, say like the white ball cricket, is completely different, because red ball has higher volumes
Yeah.
and it requires more conditioning, whereas the white ball, it requires more explosive strength, speed, and we need to prepare those kind of loads for our players.
Okay. So, just like you have talked about the T20 cricket, so in T20 cricket, it is very intense and short, right? So, what are the
Hmm.
biggest physical demands players face during an IPL season?
I think T20 is total chaos. You don't expect a suddenly you have to run for the ball when you're fielding. Everything can be a maximal effort. You need to be on your toes in every single delivery that's taking place. Bowlers have to have repeated high force impacts with minimal recovery. So it is really important to actually gauge how much workload management they are doing. We don't really want to get those guys too fatigued because their chances of injuries are high, and we want our key fast bowlers to be there, especially in the first 2 overs, because
Okay.
that's the most important part of the starting of the innings.
So, like the fitness standards in Indian cricket have evolved a lot in like recent times. So, have you seen any noticeable change in the players' mindset over the years? Like the BCCI COE has increased that standards.
Yeah, very clearly. I think 10 years ago, fitness was something players were just compelled to do. They were just, forced to run without any context. Most players didn't know what was actually, important for them, what their body was, needed for the demands for different types of format in cricket, especially with the T20 demands. Because it's a new format, relatively new format. And now I think each player owns that fitness realm of education and awareness. I think
Okay.
BCCI has done a really good job increasing the benchmarks, giving awareness. I think if I look at players across India, and especially in different sports like say football or any hockey and stuff, I think cricketers are well aware of many of those functional movements which are required in the gym, and they are quite literate in those aspects as well, and also giving good global exposure to the players in the female category and in the male category, especially with the youth development. And we see players coming from the ranks of
Yeah.
under 16, 19s. We see like a lot of skilled, highly intelligent, aware athletes coming into the first team. So yeah, I think it's a big shift. It's a cultural shift, and it's also a very positive shift, especially for Indian cricket.
And I think it is betterment for the Indian cricket for the future.
Definitely, I think it's just gonna go on and on, better and better, because I think with the data that BCCI has, I think they have decades of, fitness benchmarks. So whoever's in that position has a lot of good work to be done.
Even domestic players are not far behind, like matching the standards of international players.
Yeah, I mean, all of the players that we recruit, they're actually, coming from the domestic cricket, especially from the under 16s and, the Ranji cricket. And these guys already know a lot of stuff which we want them to do. And it's just only about tweaking here and there, like, what fits best for that unique player then when they come to Rajasthan Royals or any
Okay.
other franchise that matters.
And Rajasthan Royals are always known for backing young Indian players. Like, so how do you approach fitness planning for young cricketers versus senior internationals?
I think it has to be a concrete framework for the child development. It has to be in phases. So younger players are in more development phase, but we don't really have that in Rajasthan Royals. So we with the data that we have, especially with the scouting department and the analysis tools that they use, they actually see through what is the next talent that is taking place in the domestic circuit, what the players are doing in the NCAs and how much their runs are scoring. I think that's one of the pillars. If they see someone who's can be robust and can take the demands of T20 and can handle huge crowds, the pressure of T20 in IPL is something that is very, very important. And they also and especially in my department as well, is we're actually looking at like building robust athletes. So it has to
Okay.
be that they learn from a base and then they go from a base to more, technical, um, moving athletes. So that that they have a foundational strength. Their bodies can be more resilient to a lot of match exposures, and also being educated in recovery and their diets as well.
Yeah.
And not also that, they need to be also aware about their sleep routines and stuff, which is very important for long-term durability.
So how much, like you talked about sleep routine, so how much that affects on the fitness of a player?
Yeah, so it really depends on the person. But the science really says that if anyone's sleeping less than 8 hours, the performance decreases, reaction time decreases, and a lot of risk of injuries can happen as well. So it's a big red flag for us as practitioners in the sport.
So do you face any challenges like from the young players, like for the sleep schedule also?
I mean, yeah, we do actually. It's about actually just educating the player about their sleep routine. but it's very difficult for players to adjust, especially in the IPL, because the matches can go on for long periods of time in the evening, and when they come back, they are probably coming back to the hotel around, say, like 11 a.m. I mean, sorry, p.m. They're probably going to sleep by 1 p.m. because of just with all the exposure and the cortisol
Yeah.
and the adrenaline and everything. They take time to unwind. So it is a challenge, but so we adjust to the cycle of the IPL. For example, we tell them maybe have some magnesium,
Okay.
the basics like haldi doodh, uh, Epsom salts, just to calm them down.
Okay. And what are the biggest fitness challenges like when working with the very young players entering the professional cricket teams, like Vaibhav Suryavanshi, who was just 14-year-old, coming into the team?
I think Weber is an outlier out there. I think he did extremely well. I think with the first ball he wanted to hit the ball, so we didn't have a problem there. But uh, but yes, it's the normal thing is that there is a big jump of intensity when say a
Okay.
19-year-old comes to senior cricket. The pressure is more, the intensity is more, the experience of handling like different conditions in different environments in stadiums, air pressure, crowd, expectations. These are the kind of things that are a challenge for young athletes coming into the first team. So maturity is a big thing, and I think with the steps which BCCI and other franchise such as Rajasthan Royals with their high performance centers is actually building that exposure for those children who are developing themselves to become professional cricketers.
Okay. So, what are your fitness plans for them, like as a 14-year-old kid? Because if we see in generally a 14-year kid is not going to gym.
Hmm. So 14 years. So it's actually about teaching the young athlete what you know what is expected from them, um,
Okay.
what are the demands. So we actually has to coach them over time. So there's also progression that takes place over time. So it's not like that we throw them in the deep end and then they have to go save their lives. It's actually there's a pattern. So there's like a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. There's a arrowhead of progression that takes place when they're in different age groups. So for example, a 16-year-old wouldn't do the same thing as a 19-year-old. So maybe for real example, we won't probably introduce them to like high intensity plyometric jumps at a 16-year-old because of their growth spurts. They're
Okay.
vulnerable for like a lot of tissue issues, epiphyseal plate issues, which is also known for places to be like prone to injuries. So it really depends on where the child development takes place, over the years.
Okay. And you also pointed out like the tight IPL schedule. So with the matches every 2 to 3 days. So how do you manage workload and recovery without players being burning out?
I mean, in the IPL is actually more about readiness.
Okay.
It's not about building fitness anymore. It's just it's keeping the guys on their toes, ensuring that they come to the ground, especially when they come for the for their warm up, that they're ready for that warm up. If they're not ready for that warm up, that means they're not ready for the match. So it really it starts from the bedroom, the bed, coming out of the bedroom, seeing, and the breakfast table, and then the physio table. So the physio is also one of the main characters or the main staff in the team. He or she takes care of the range of motion, sees if you can, like, doesn't have those niggles like how which we the players often get. So that is something that is important. And
Okay.
matches itself is a stimulus, and if players are exposed to matches, they are getting fit there as well. unless you get trashed. There's always an opportunity for us to also train right after that, which we do like top-ups. Top-ups usually generally are when if the match loads are less, we'd go for sprints or we do a gym session after a match. But it's not
Okay.
like a huge training session, but it's like, just to get them ready for the next training cycle or the next game.
Okay.
And yeah, and also we look at other things as well, like like wellness markers. So we ask them, how well you slept, if you have soreness, check their mood, because the coach's eye, like how the athlete turns up onto the dressing room or the team room, is very important, because you can see if he or she has had good sleep or not. How they respond. If you say hello to Dhruv Jurel and he's like, yeah, hi, how are you, and then he's ready to go, then he's had like a good recovery.
Do the players lie about their sleep schedule also?
We already know,
Uh,
we as operators, we already know that they're not sleeping well, right? Because sometimes the game doesn't go your way, and emotions are high, and sometimes people don't sleep. There's a lot of those the issues that take place, and
yeah.
so we find out. But I'm sure they do
Okay.
lie.
And when a player gets injured, can you take us through the complete fitness journey from rehab to being cleared for the green signal to play?
So yeah, so the process is actually diagnosis, understanding what the injury is, how the injury occurred, and then also knowing the timelines. It's a structured process uh, where the physios, the doctors, the team doctor looks at the range of motion, and then after that we come in as operators, strength and conditioning coach, sports scientists, who want to rebuild that strength, because there's a lot of hyperplasia, there's a lot of inactivity, so we need to build that again. And then once
Okay.
the strength or foundation has come back, then we introduce them to more like dynamic movements where it's more sports specific, which is a little more controlled. And then they come into the nets, or they start bowling or start batting and fielding, but
Okay.
very like control intensities. And then it's slowly with the collaborations with like with the coaches, the technical coaches, we discuss the duration of how much they need to bowl or bat. It's very like there's a whole like communication link between us. So if um, it's not like it's no guessing work. I mean, there is guessing because we don't know how tissue heals. Sometimes it takes longer than expected, unexpected. But there's no guesswork. There's proper planning, and clearance is never based on timing. It's based on if the athlete can actually tolerate and have good mechanic and metabolic demands for the demands of T20, and it has to be safe.
Okay. Yeah, that's the main point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I mean, if it's not safe, then they're definitely not going to be safe for high intensity cricket such as T20.
And when player is injured mid tournament, so what is the team's mindset? Like, do they focus more on the rehab of the player or planning the replacement for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I remember this clearly in last year or this year. Yeah, last year, 2025. Time goes so
Yeah.
fast. We're almost coming into the next season. So yeah. Sanju Samson, I mean, obviously he was a big player. I mean, our star player then, and there was always pressure of returning, because he is a contributor. Like our runs, his captaincy is very important. So you can expect that there is pressure of him coming back to to the dugout, to the pitch. So it is also important, on the other hand, to not think about the short term, because it's the health of the athlete, right, and their future as well. So we're thinking about that. And the
Okay.
physios are really good at understanding the healing science, functional movement, performance tests. So are we also come into that that bracket as well. And um, understanding workload tolerance as well. Because we do want to have a criteria where, say like a Sanju, because he's a wicket keeper, he's an explosive athlete, that he can at least do things, in a safe environment that is explosive. Say, for example, a sprint, which is safe, but it is demanding. So if he can do something like that, then okay, we're confident that okay, he can start, being, he'll be safe in the wicket keeping, or he can be safe in the nets while batting. So risk profiling is very important to guide our timelines. So, for example, if he's still having that strain out there and he's in the, say, the nets and is issuing, giving him a issue while he's giving a cover drive, then okay, fine. We say do not do the coverage, only just knock. So that is the conversations we have with the coach and Sanju. So if they're not ready for that, um, regardless of pressure, we still think about long-term availability.
Okay. And like in the recent years of IPL, the rule was introduced about the impact player.
Mhm.
So, what was the impact of that rule on like the fitness journey of a player, like in managing or the fitness of that player?
So, see, the journey of a player is really depending on the athlete profile, the history of, how many games, the age of the athlete. So, and knowing the fact that the Indian players, and I think all international players are going through a lot of games, and
Yeah,
the intensity of these games are fast, explosive, and this density of these matches are back to back, cut to cut, right?
yeah,
So we are going to get a lot of injuries, soft tissue issues. So I think it was only fair that the BCCI actually allowed these impact players to come in, and it's important because availability of you know players is it makes you win or lose. So,
yeah.
and if you don't have an impact player coming into the T20, especially IPL, it's not fun, right? It's because we want to see batters perform, and we want the crowds to go crazy, right? Yeah. So it's important that we have that.
Okay. And what are the most common injuries you deal with, and how do you try to minimize them?
It's a very complex thing. It's multifaceted. But if you look at like position wise, like fast bowlers, they have like a lot of lumbar stress issues, rotator cuff issues, ankle loading, hamstring strains. They have a whole lot of
Yeah.
list of things, because I think these guys they go through a lot of stress while bowling, because of it's a high velocity um, position action as well. So there will be a lot of injuries that take place as well. Batters and fielders, they have like groin strains because of the change of directions. A lot of torque movement where they're like
Yeah.
cover sixes and cover drives and everything. There's a lot of like overuse injuries in those areas. Also, like when they do a short burst, there's also like hamstring tears, like strain 1 and 2, sometimes 3. It's not so much of the strain 3. I think that's strain hamstring strain 3 will be more of footballers. But then there's a
Okay.
lot of front loading when they're coming from, say, like a Ranji cricket or a Test cricket. There's a lot of knee issues, impact issues. But the prevention comes from like progressive overload and exposure for these kind of movements, um, like trunk stability, rotator cuff activation, moving
Okay.
holistically. If you're not moving well, then there is some kind of range of motion issues, stiffness issues, which need to be like flushed out with the massage therapist, which is very important for any team sports or individual sports. And also like recovery compliances as well. So if the person sleeps late, has alcohol, smokes, doesn't have his hydration after games, then it becomes an issue for that player. So being compliant in recovery is very, very important. Sometimes I think like every player needs to become a monk, because it's literally that. If you're not consistent with your recovery, then these things happen. I think if you the biggest example is Virat Kohli, how you know he's determined and
Yeah,
leads by example as well. Like you see how fit he is in the last IPL, and the amount of runs he was making between the wickets was very impressive. That comes down to his character.
yeah, that is. Like you just mentioned about the drinking and smoking. So, like, does players like involve in these kinds of activities and it has impacted their performance?
Yeah, yes, of course, it does impact performance. We don't want the players to be drinking in the tournament, but then it is natural for players to actually have a few drinks, and
Okay.
in their personal lives they probably do smoke as well. But then we can't really say you can't do this, you can't do that. They
Yeah.
are adults at the end of the day, and then they have to make the decisions as well. So it does make a big negative impact on performance. But sometimes some people, with their genetics and their performance and their skill, they still get away with it.
And a question is coming from a curious cricket fan. So, if a player leaves the field during a match due to the discomfort or injury, so who makes the final call on whether they can return?
Uh, John was basically the head physiotherapist in RR, and if anyone got injured, like Nitish Rana, if you remember that game, he got injured in a home game against, I think it was Lucknow, or I don't know, I forgot. So it's his decision, to take him out. And if
Okay.
he is not, feeling good after the treatment inside the dugout or in the changing room, then he can't come in to the cricket pitch. But then again, the player has a say as well, because if he's actually feeling well and it's a very important game for him, I don't think we can take that away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, Rahul Dravid was also in link, so there is always a three-way communication between the head physio, head SNC, and the head coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wicket keepers like are stay involved in the entire match without any rotation. Like if we talk about the fielders, batters, they have the opportunity to rotate. So how different are their fitness demands compared to the other players?
It's a very unique position. There's only one wicket keeper that can actually play. So, and if you're the top wicket keeper, then you got to play all games. Unless you have like a high rotation, like the Indian cricket team that keep rotating
Yeah.
wicket keepers. But I think that is also a very good strategy for keeping longevity and durability for that wicket keeper. I think it's a very good move by the BCCI, because and then again, like you say, I mean, a lot of rotation also can be a drawback as well, because flow is very important in an athlete's career. If they don't have that flow of just taking wickets, catching those balls, then it becomes difficult. But when you talk about the demands, there's a lot of cumulative demands in squatting. There's a lot of lateral
Yeah.
movements, jumping laterally, spinal loading. That's exactly what you saw with Sanju, right? Like his side strain could have been a cumulative issue, because he's a big hitter and he is a wicket keeper. Uh, so there's a lot of load in the hip and the spinal area. So that means we need to like make those hips, the glutes, the groin, the hip flexors, uh, the quads, kinetically, robust and optimized. What I mean is that they need to move efficiently without restriction. So
Yeah.
we'll have to look at low back endurance and stability, ankle mobility, how they move in agility and change of direction, aerobic capacity. We don't want to like load them too much in the gym with their back squats and the deadlifts. We want to like give them complementary or auxiliary exercises that can help them, like say like a dead bug, which is very good for the spine and core. It protects them from shear movements, lateral movements of the spine. So um, and, and that's I think that's the way of actually training a top tier athlete in the highest form.
And fans often hear about the niggle or precautionary rest. So, do you think teams are transparent enough about these injuries? Like they told about the fitness of the player as a niggle or a precautionary rest to cover the main injury or any change in the team formations.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a very like confidential information that they don't want to, inform the other team, or it's a strategic thing, and also media hype and everything. We don't want to make escalate the situation. It could be that it can be managed and addressed in say 72 hours, and he is actually good to perform and play. So suddenly you actually see some player who is injured and then he's actually playing in the first 11. So these are the tricks, the magic tricks which the physio and the SNCs have. They're getting them back on the pitch, and also being highly tolerant to pain. So yeah. So, but coming back to your question, I'm going way beyond what the question
No, no,
was.
it's okay.
Yeah. So it's actually the welfare of the player as well. It's highly conservative, obviously. It's more of a precaution term. We don't want to over escalate things, but then again, it can be prevented because of the right course of actions.
Okay. And for bowlers with unique or high stress actions like Jasprit Bumrah or Lasit Malinga, so how the SNC coach play a role in managing fitness while reducing their risk injury?
Maybe because of that unique biomechanical action is actually what makes them really special, and especially coming into the spotlight and top cricket, we never want to change or alter their skill identity. Instead, we will build them physically in their physical capacities, support those mechanics while improving tolerance, tissue tolerance, joint stability, and most importantly, their recovery capacity, so that their action is remains sustainable. I don't think Bumrah has changed his action or his run up since
Yeah,
now. And if anyone says, Bumrah, change your action, then Bumrah will be not Bumrah anymore.
yeah,
Yeah,
that is the point.
yeah. Because I mean, there are like people who are have gold standards of how to front load mechanics, front foot mechanics in the bowling and everything, running actions. There are people like this, and especially with me, everything has to be like structured and straight, and people have to run with proper gait and everything. But then again, we need to really think about where that person has come from since their childhood, how they've been taught, trained, and why they actually are special.
And like we talked about, the BCCI infrastructure has improved in the recent years and focusing on the fitness. They've also introduced like many fitness benchmarks like Bronco test and that 2 kilometer trial run. So, how relevant are these tests in a real match performance?
Yeah, tests like Bronco 2 km trial provide a baseline aerobic indicators and help and make decisions about their minimum requirements in fitness discipline, because these are aerobic tests. I think Bronco might be a little more anaerobic because some of the athletes have to really sprint to make a good time, and the change of direction has a lot of mechanical, forces that can, demand high force, high intensity force actions because of the change of direction and then sprint to make a good time. But in cricket, performance relies more on power, repeated sprints, ability to keep playing through different conditions, that being environment and in the game, and being efficient, neuromuscular. Uh, but these tools, I think they're just good ways. these tests are just good tools, I think, but
Okay.
it's not a final performance predictor of, uh, because he did really well in, say, Bronco, and he scored 4.30 minutes in the Bronco, does not mean he's going to be an exceptional cricketer or he's going to play really well. It's just to know where the athlete is and how we can actually help him, you know, prolong his career, or help him be more fitter during the game, and he can recover from those high intensity actions. Yeah.
Okay. And sometimes players are judged more on their fitness rather than their performance, just like the Rohit Sharma in like recent months only. So,
Mm.
how do you see as an SNC coach view this balance?
Uh, I think, when we talk about Rohit Sharma being not fit, I think he's cricket fit. There's a cricket fit, and there's a physically fit person who's can run 2 km or 5 km, benches 100 kgs. So Rohit Sharma he's there because he's good at what he does. He's the best who he is, what he does, and I don't see any replacement. I mean, obviously now because he's retired, there's no replacement for him. And then again, you should also look at what he did when he was younger. He probably was the fittest guy there in Mumbai, Maharashtra. I mean, Mumbai cricket. So, so let's not like target him because of what he believes in. I think he's made those decisions because I think he believes that what he's doing is enough for him to perform in the highest level.
Okay.
So the player must think about their general fitness to get to where they need to be, tick those boxes, what they need to improve on, and then have the knowledge or the awareness of what works. Does strength and power work? Does isometrics work? Or do you have a SNC that actually is looking into all these things and you trust your SNC? So that needs to be there. And that it takes time. It takes time and trust to build rapport with the player and the coaches who are there as well. And that is something that we really don't see because it's more closed doors,
Yeah.
right?
And he has shut the mouth of the critics about who were like telling about he's not fit. So, how do you see like Rohit Sharma's fitness? Like he improved a lot.
I mean, if you saw the last series which he was in Australia, I think he looked very different, and he
Yeah.
he looked like a different person in that series, right? And he looked good, he looked sharp, and I think that he's looking at all these things, right? You don't see change over time, like quick time. You see it over months and weeks of preparation, practice, and given the schedule of Indian cricket, it's a lot of cricket going on, right? There's no chance for them to build their stamina or strength or something. It's a working around keeping them optimized, keeping them happy, keeping being healthy, but also discipline, of course. I mean, you can't say that okay, he can't doesn't need to do fitness or, but it's just it's more about that. It's more about catering to the needs of the player, of
Okay.
any player.
And on match days, what does your routine look like behind the scenes, from warm ups to post match recovery of the players?
Yeah, so it really depends. It really comes down to the wellness reports. We have a good AMS system, so athlete monitoring system, where players write down or put in their inputs of how they're feeling, how much they slept. They use a lot of technology like Whoop bands and stuff, and then which gives you like your sleep cycle, circadian rhythm, basically your REM sleep, your deep sleep. So me and the performance department really looked into all these metrics, these what are they call wellness questionnaires, and they Whoop data, so they were eccentric data, and
Okay.
if there was any flags of poor sleep or less HRV while sleeping, so heart rate variability, we would discuss that with the physios, and then the players would then come to us, and then we'd have a little conversation about how your sleep was. Then we do a little check, uh, pre-match screening with the physio. He sees the range of motions, and he does a little soft tissue release, flushing of the lactic build up which has been present in the muscle, which gets removed after flushing it out with a good rub.
Okay.
And then after that, when he's ready with from that or done with the physio or the massage therapist, he comes for readiness checks. And readiness checks can be simple, sprint, jumps, um, hand grip, strength. These the basically we look at in the sprint is the time, how fast you can complete 10 meters or 20 meters, or how high you can jump in your jump profiling. So if these scores are less, then that means the neuromuscular, they're not ready for like high intensity action in cricket. So we either tell them this is what it is, and we form a strategy. Okay, like, okay, maybe you need to take a nap, have some have a power nap, or let's do a quick workout to pump you up. Okay, that's what's
Okay.
happening. And then they come for the if and then we come for the warm up planning, then individual activations. A lot of the Indian cricketers and the international cricketers have their own specific warm ups where the physio and myself have made, and they have to do that because everyone has different types of issues. I mean, some have common, so they probably pool together, but then also they have different, approaches. Maybe a lot of back activation, rotator cuff activations, groin. If someone has a lot of groin issues, they do activations of the groin, and then hydration strategies as well. So we do actually tell them, you need to drink the urine needs to be, pale white, not yellow. If it's
Okay.
yellow, that means you need to hydrate. And then there's a injury risk monitoring during the play. So we look at the player, how they're moving and stuff. They're still niggles, then they quickly go to the physio, and they do a little taping and everything, so that they're protected for those throws, especially the throws, because there's a lot of like injuries while throwing as well. uh, because there's so much, the outfield running, and then the catching
Yeah.
the ball and throwing. There's so much throwing, so there's a lot of injuries in their forearms and their rotator cuff. So that you'll see a lot of tape on those guys. They're taped everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why they have those things. I think what we did really well is actually protect those guys, especially in the outfields with their arms. We really made them do a lot of rotator activations. So that was very crucial for us. And then after that is actually post-match recovery, which where we usually did ice bath or a pool
Okay.
session, and then obviously there was food, carbohydrates and proteins and fats and everything were provided for the player instantly. Unique. We had a nutritionist as well who used to know what player needs what, and
Okay.
then and the calories that they also needed as well. So it's a lot of continuous problem solving and anticipating fatigue before it becomes like a limitation. So we're really like practitioners, like going through the motions. So there's a lot of like talking and communicating between all of us.
So, have you ever interacted with Virat Kohli?
Virat Kohli, yes, I actually did last season. Yes, I did. He's something special. I think he embodies ownership, a big chunk of
Yeah.
ownership. His discipline in everything he does. His diets. You've probably heard of his diets and everything.
Yeah.
Uh, and his mindset of being competitive. I think there were these instances where you would see like, why didn't you do this? The why didn't you do the second run? I wanted to do the second run. You did only one single. I saw that action. You could have
Okay.
you could have done two runs. but because he demands it. He's a cultural. He puts the standards.
Yeah,
Uh,
that
he
is true.
sets the sta- yeah, he sets the cultural standards, and players like him shift the team expectation towards simply by his presence. And he's also very humble because I mean, uh, if you speak to him, he'll say hello, he'll say thank you. He's very like he can acknowledge you. He's not someone who's arrogant or such. Of course, he comes from pedigree of cricket where he's been very very successful, but which is normal for any top individual to be arrogant as well. And I think you need to have that attitude for someone who's leading the team or being the captain of India. It's simply important to have in sport.
And how was the interaction? Like, did you straight go to him or like took someone to introduce you?
No, no, I just straight up went to him because he batted phenomenally against us in our home game and in what's it called in Bangalore. I just told
Okay.
him, wow, what a innings, what a bat! You played extremely well. He's like, thank you. He looked, I mean, had a little brief talk, and he's like, thank you. And a lot of our players are, they big following, big fans of him, right? You'll see our players going to young players like Weber take photographs, and he'll take photographs. I've seen him also like give autographs to like people on the stands, and he wave at them. He's not like that arrogant, but there's also the time and place for all those things as well, right? So when he's in the zone, he's in the zone.
That is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
And
so many people wanting to get a glimpse of him. So I think he does a good job with being that special character.
yeah, that is clearly evident, like with the fan following around him.
Yeah.
So, before working with Rajasthan Royals, you also worked with at the VVS Laxman Academy. So,
Yeah.
how it went and how it shaped your approach to the player fitness and development.
Those are my formative years of being a SNC. I first worked in Cricket Association of Bengal, where he was the mentor of a lot of the cricketers out there. So I met him there.
Okay.
We spoke a few times. He was there while I was also doing like a lot of the SNC work. And by the time I was looking for opportunities, he gave me the chance to come to his academy and become a SNC out there. I think it was a good formative years. It really made me understand my craft as a SNC. It gave me time to build my programs, my approach to strength and conditioning, how I would plan sessions, especially in a place like that where they had like you know kids from different age groups. So that was my first big step of having approach of long-term athletic development, uh, which has become a cornerstone for BCCI. Um, and and then I think from there actually it just kept on improving.
And how was working with Rahul Dravid in RR? Like, how his presence influenced you as a fitness coach?
I think Rahul's approach is very clarity driven, right, and process focused. He values, I think he's values preparation, discipline, humility, and he understands sports science. So because we come in a background of evidence based research and decision making, he understands that because of his awareness when he was with NCA and his travels, when he was with the under 19s or India A or whenever he was when he was the director of NCA. So he understands those terms when we speak about ACL and RTP, return to play, and all these basic things. He understands and he respects those decisions, or not decisions but recommendations from us. So the
Okay.
environment's sharpened by his thinking, and he knows with his experience what needs to be there to be a top athlete. And I think you saw that with Weber, and a lot
Yeah,
of youth coming from under 19. He was with that system, who are currently now playing for India right now. He
yeah,
was in, yeah, and I think people respected him. People really respected him, and the way he speaks in his group talks, everyone's focused, listening to what he says. Um, he knew when to speak, how to speak, because that's very important. And then that's important because that can motivate players, and that is important. If you can motivate players in, say, where you're losing, or you're learning, as a learner, like a Weber Suryavanshi, then it's very important that you actually listen to someone like the wall. Yeah.
he motivated well enough in the last season, right? So, like, by showing the dedication by coming with a fracture. So, did you work on him also?
Yeah, I actually did have a good opportunity to talk to him while he was in the rehab room as well. We did a lot of exercises together, and he's actually someone who really looks forward to training. He likes his
Okay.
strength training. He likes his jogs around the pitch. So he does all of those things. So he came to me. I didn't come to him or anything, because when I was first there, I didn't know what to like say. But he was like, "Hey, Varun, this is my program. Can you help me out?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." So we had sessions together. We had good chats. He's a good. I think he's a good legendary guy. I think he's great.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And at the NCA, like you have worked with at NCA also. So you worked alongside the top coaches like Bharat Arun, Vikram Rathore, T. Dilip. And how well was the collaboration with these top coaches?
Uh, I think performance is successful because of the collective in the group, right? And how we
Okay.
interact with each other. We can't be in cells in different groups and not talk to each other. Uh, that then there's a degradation of performance on the pitch. So these guys really knew what they were doing. They know cricket. They talked, breathed cricket, and it was interesting. And I think every department had a vision. They were very consistent in their planning and ensure that what they wanted from the boys, it was done. And then the engagement of each session, the fielding session from like Dilip, was very good. I think what I saw from him in NCA Jharkhand elite group, which it was called back then, his sessions was top notch, and it was just reflecting of what fielders need in while they're in the match. So it's about aligning, and then that's how athletes thrive. And these guys really knew how to do that. They were good operators of their fields. Yeah.
So at that time only, you have worked with several under 19 players like Dhruv Jurel, Ravi Bishnoi, Nihal Vadera, Priyam Garg. So who have done like these cricketers have done well in the game of cricket in today's time, basically. So what was their fitness routine and how well they work on their fitness?
These guys were exceptional. I didn't have much to say uh, to them than being really impressed of who they are. Because when I was coming from, like CAB, or because I was with under 23s, and then previous Laxman academies, and then you see them power hitting or bowling and sprinting in the on the in the field in Jharkhand, that in the stadium, uh, the MS Dhoni stand. I mean, MS Dhoni Stadium. I was really impressed. I'm like, wow, these guys can really hit for under 19s. They can smash the ball. I mean, under 23 guys were struggling with them. Uh, so I was really impressed, and uh, I think go full credit goes to the state associations as well, right?
Okay.
Because they introduce and train these boys, and not only that, not take the credit away from the players as well, their hard effort and their talent also. So my job was just to make sure that they understood what the NCA wanted from them, and if they were educated of what the expectations were to become the best and be chosen for national call-ups and be, you know, be called up in, their franchises as well. And I think these guys really ticked all the boxes when it comes to all of these things.
Yeah, we can see them like in today's games.
Yeah, I mean, full credit to them, and obviously their listening and their talent. They are there because of what they have done and what they keep doing.
Yeah. So, you also worked with the Mizoram Cricket Association. So, what motivated you to go over there and work? And how do you see the fitness potential in Northeast cricketers, basically?
Uh, what motivated me? It, it just came, it just came by chance. When my time in VVS Laxman, I met a senior coach who guided me, and he's the one actually that I actually got the opportunity to work with Cricket Association of Mizoram. This is especially when it was going on, when the Loda case was going on, and they were looking for like skilled SNCs for the Northeast, and I was one of those candidates that ticked the marks because they were looking for, people with bachelors or certifications like the CSCS or, yeah, or masters or something, and I came up to be having those certificates. So it it came into chance, and then took the opportunity. Right, it's still domestic cricket is one of the highest levels of cricket, and I did it. And if you look at the Northeast as a cricketing region, they're very far from, maybe 30 or 40 years from, say, Mumbai cricket or I don't know, UP cricket. They're complete elite right now. But
Okay.
given that they are new, there is a huge ceiling of improvement. Uh, they come from a very athletic background, especially the Mizorams, which I have seen because I worked with them. They love their sports. They are very community-driven people, and they're compassionate. They're disciplined as well. So that will come a long way. And I think every year goes by, and they'll become better. When I was there, they struggled. They probably didn't know half of the rules of Test cricket. Uh, so it
Okay.
was. You can imagine, a Test day is 5 days. We should finish the test in one day. So now in 2026, these guys have won. I think the senior team has won the Vijay Hazare, yeah, and they've done really well against other teams. Not lose in the first day, first innings. I mean the first day of a test match. So they're getting better because they've also put up, an academy. They have like a cricket pitch. They've set up a stadium. They have nets. They have coaches coming from NCA. They're sending local coaches to NCA. So NCA has also done a very good job because their educational system is very good. Because I think what they do is really well is that they teach the coach how to talk to athletes, how to train athletes, also talk to SNCs and physios. So which is, sometimes a missing component or language for coaches to understand, and because modern day sports requires all these, pillars. So yeah, I think there's a big ceiling for them and big potential.
And sorry, I have to correct you. Like Mizoram didn't win the Vijay Trophy.
Oh.
Actually, these teams have performed well in this season of the Plate Group, but Bihar took the title.
Okay. No, I think okay, yeah, played group, yes. My bad.
No, no, it's okay. And how do you manage players with recurring fitness issues without compromising their performance?
uh Recurring injuries. It's again it's quantifying workload management. It's understanding their compliances of recovery, how their lifestyle is. Getting all these information then gives us a clear, footprint of who they are and what they need. Um, like I said before, if they're sleeping late, eating unhealthy food, that can come onto the pitch. Uh,
Okay.
and also understanding their injury history as well. So if we know the history of, say, someone with disc issues or past issues in their spine, we will not obviously, give them a lot of axial loading of the spine. We'll give other complementary exercises that they can, get strong, get fitter, and then they can also be, ready to perform on the pitch. Um, the important thing is that every player will have these things, overuse injuries or previous injuries. It is giving a protection plan for them, a proper protection plan, which is, that can changes over time and need and physically, I mean, individually tailored for their requirements. And it's also very important that once they come from, say, T20 and they want to have to go back to, say, a ODI or a test, we have to give a handover to, the next practitioner or the other team
Okay.
of, this is what has been done. This is what we recommend, and it is the duty of the other team and their staff members to actually take it on and then introduce a new set of protocols for these players who are, exposed to, like, a lot of injuries and stuff like that. So there's a huge circle that keeps on happening.
Okay.
So NCA is always in touch with the domestic cricket coaches, the whole staff. That means NCA, I mean, the strength and conditioning coaches and the franchises as well. If we have a GPS, they'll want to look at, the metrics on the GPS. And, if someone who's not had enough HSR or high speed running, then it's definitely worth that the next practitioner introduces the high speed running to the athlete. Let it be a batsman, pace bowler, spinner, whatever. It is very important. So there's a whole framework out there or a system that is taking place.
Okay. So, are you currently also working with the Rajasthan Royals for this upcoming season?
Not currently, no, no. I'm now with badminton right now. I'm working with the Indian team,
Oh, nice.
working with Prakash Padikun's Badminton Academy. Now it's called Center of Badminton Excellence. It's based in Bangalore, and it's almost like the NCA, where they have the best of the best coming to the center to be trained with top coaches, facilities. So it's almost like that, where we have a long-term athletic vision to, get athletes fitter, make them reach the podium. At least the minimum requirement is that they play for national level.
Okay. And how challenging is it to shift your conditioning approach from cricket to badminton?
I won't say it's too challenging. It's because of the education that we've had as, as coaches, because of the masters and the bachelors, because we understand physiology and the metabolic demands, and, interacting with so many, good mentors, senior people in the game of sport, like in cricket, is it's made it a little more easier, to adjust. And also, it also takes time to for me to, like, understand there is a methodology to badminton as well. So it'll take time, but it's not that difficult as, say, but coming to a new sport, not it's not that difficult.
And finally, what's one simple fitness or recovery habit that young cricketers can learn?
What they can learn, I think, just be open minded. uh, see how the best perform, mimic that, and then build awareness. I think that's a lot of words. Be open-minded, basically.
Okay. So we'll go forward with to our next segment, that is the photo story. So can you tell us about the story about meeting Ajinkya Rahane?
That was when I was in NCA, when we were in the national camp. They were preparing for, I think, the Youth World Cup, and he was there for his assessments. So I just saw him, and I was like big fan of his, and I was like, "Can we take a photograph?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So that's how it happened. I was just was pretty young back then. It was probably like say 5-6 years ago now.
Okay. And another one is with VVS Laxman.
VVS Laxman was when I was in time with my. I think there was the same photograph when I was in CAB. I
Okay.
was a big fan of him when I was a child. So seeing him, in the same place where I am in the Eden Gardens, I had to take the photograph.
Even I was like this when I met VVS Laxman.
I had to take. I was like, please.
And another one is with Dhruv Jurel at the airport.
So yeah, that is actually our ritual where we actually meet up after landing. In, every airport where we meet up and we just talk, catch up, because their timelines as players of any franchise is a lot. They have media commitments, they have their own commitments, and then they have photo shoots, they have talks with the coaches, everyone. So that's when me and him catch up and just talk about what he needs, how is he feeling. Dhruv, you're good. How are you feeling? How's that back? Or how's whatever issues he's been having. It's just like a follow up. Can we schedule a time to meet up in the gym, and then we make a schedule around that for
So
his next game.
it was about the work again on the airport.
Can't share what he exactly told to me, but then it was one of those topics.
Okay. So we'll move to the last segment. So this is a rapid fire.
Yeah,
So you have to answer that quickly.
sure. I'll try my
So,
best.
yeah. One fitness test you believe every professional cricketer must pass.
They have to pass a MSK.
Okay. And most injury-prone role in modern T20 cricket.
Fast bowlers. Role as a position, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So tougher to manage physically, young fast bowlers or senior international.
Senior international.
One quality that makes an athlete long-lasting at the top level.
Discipline.
Gym strength or on-field conditioning.
Both.
Speed or strength, what wins in T20 cricket?
Speed.
Fast bowlers or all-rounders, harder to manage physically.
If the all-rounder is a bowler, then all-rounders.
So recovery
Pace
day
bowler.
or extra training day?
Recovery. T20 recovery.
So one player from Rajasthan Royals who is always ready for training.
Ooh. Yudhvir.
Okay. And one player who tries to misses the training.
Rebel.
I think so that's a wrap on this episode of Sportsdunia podcast, SD Dugout. So thanks, Varun, for sharing the insights into the world of strength and conditioning.
No problem. It was a big pleasure. Thank you for having me, and I hope to have these more of these conversations soon. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And I hope I want to see you like working with the bigger teams now.
Definitely, that is the aim. Always above and beyond. That's always the steps.
Yeah, it was very nice to talk with you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you all the listeners for tuning in. And if you love the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is Pranvit Singh signing off.